In 1 Samuel. Now, who is Samuel? Samuel was the judge, the last judge. You see, I want to try to get this right, when Moses led his people out of Egypt, he actually was the first judge because God anointed him to do the things. Now, in those days, a judge really, their responsibility was basically for the military and for some social reform and things like that. Most of them were terrible at what they did. Why? Because they were human beings. They just were not robots. They weren't perfect. So anyway, they went through a fair amount of judges. Gabriel, of course Samuel. Who's the strong one? Samson. Samson was the judge. I don't think so. It could be. Could be. He could be. I don't remember. Look, the judges period was the darkest time for the nation of Israel. The very darkest time. And I don't like, learning a lot about that because I want good stuff. I want to hear some good stuff, to help me keep going. But it was terrible. So anyway, as we start today's lesson in 1 Samuel, we go to chapter 8. We're going to go to verse 1. And it came to pass when Samuel was old that he made his sons judges over Israel. He made his sons judges over Israel. Now, the problem there is a judge should never ordain his offspring to be a judge. Never should have happened. But he did that because he was getting old, and even Samuel was starting to disappoint God. Okay? He made his sons judges over Israel. Now the name of his firstborn was Joel, and the name of his second was Obiah. They were judges in Beersheba. Okay, that was wonderful. And his sons walked not in his ways, but turned aside after lucre, and took bribes and perverted judgment. See, that's kind of human nature for some people. They want to profit off of what they do. A judge, according to Deuteronomy, should never profit off of his position, his or her position. Deborah was a judge, okay? Should never profit, should never show favoritism. They should actually kind of be a saint, to be honest with you. It's what they were supposed to do. Lucre is profit, filthy profit, what's the word I'm looking for here? Greed, just greed, basically. So then all of the elders of Israel gathered themselves together and came unto Samuel unto Ramah. How about that? How's that for a name, Miss Shirley? Ramah? Sounds good to me. Moo, or somebody. Okay, look, here's where we're at. How many tribes were there in Israel? 12. Well, each tribe had gotten together with each other, and, well, first off, no tribe could get along with other tribes. They were just not in one accord, as one would say. Simple fact of the matter is they couldn't get along, So they wanted something else. They didn't want a judge. And after what they had seen from what Samuel's sons had done, they knew they needed something else. They did not need a judge. They needed something else. Okay? And these elders of the tribes came together and said unto him, Behold, thou art old. Well, squeeze us. And thy sons walk not in thy ways. Now make us a king. We want a king. All other nations have a king. We want a king. Okay? So get us a king. Okay. But the thing displeased Samuel when they said, Give us a king to judge us. And Samuel prayed to the Lord. Samuel prayed, what can I do? What should I do? What can I do to resolve this situation? And the Lord said unto Samuel, Hearken unto the voice of the people in all that they say unto thee. For they have not rejected you, Samuel. They've rejected me. The Lord said they rejected him. Because, see, he was the real judge, wasn't he? See, in those days, each person was supposed to do what they thought was right for themselves and others. Okay? That's all they were asked to do, is do what is right. We don't need people that's wanting filthy lucre. We don't want people who would just live for greed. We don't need people like that. We need people that will honor each other. They will work with each other. They will encourage each other. And that's the way it was supposed to have been. But guess what? Here come the devil. And we know what happened. Judges couldn't control them. Judges couldn't do what was supposed to be done. So anyway, have rejected me that I should not reign over them. In other words, God, we don't need you. We don't need you anymore. We can take care of ourselves. We just want a king that will help us. Because other nations have a king. Why can't we have a king? We want somebody who's a king so other countries will respect us. See, if you have a king, then people are going to respect you, right? Well, that's what they thought. Now, let's step forward about 3,000 years. It's so funny, I read the other day or it might have been a month ago, I think it was 2 senators had flown to some city to be part of that No Kings March. No kings. Want no kings. Nope, don't want no kings now. Then they had to charter a plane to get back to D.C. so they could go hear King Charles make his speech. Oxymoron. That's a classic case of an oxymoron, okay? But you see, a king today, like the king of Great Britain, is not like the king that was 1,500 years ago, or even 600 or 800 years ago. In those days, the king was not just the king of the country, he was the king of the church. And that was terrible because that king had gotten to the point that everything revolved around the king. And I'm saying him because there was no kings then. You know, we had queen later on. But the king actually basically told you when you were going to church, told you what job you were going to have, told you basically who you were going to marry, all those things. And so you had no freedom, 0 point no freedom at all, versus today. Like today, we can worship wherever we want to. We can do what we want to. We in this church are called Free Will Baptist, aren't we? So things have changed a lot, but you still got that same old problem you had 3,000 years ago, greed. Got to have this, got to have that, okay? It's, I tell my wife, I don't say I want this, I say I need this. And that's a leading indicator to her, just forget it, it ain't gonna happen. So, because she knows I'm lying like a dog. So anyway, according to all the works which they have done since the day that I brought them out of Egypt, even unto this day, wherewith they have forsaken me and served other gods, so do they also unto thee. Samuel, your people's not listening. They're not listening. Are we listening today? Is this country listening to anything today? No. No. Yes, we're too busy disagreeing. And we're being led down that golden path by politicians and journalists to help separate us. You see, there's an old saying, divide and conquer. Divide and conquer. And look, go back 60 years ago. 60 years ago, if the politicians would have said anything like they're saying today, they would have been run out of office. News people, if they would have said what they say today, they've been gone. And now, even when you try to clean up the act, you've got so many sinful people who wants to get involved and put you down for saying the right thing. I know they're trying to clean up CBS News because it had gotten so political, and now you got all these other people trying to get involved in it, getting their 2 cents worth in, and they're just as bad as the journalists were that they're getting rid of. So why do we want to listen to any of them?
Well, Lewis,
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
People don't know or not, we kind of, just keeping it quiet, but nobody's doing nothing about it. But all the Muslim people that come over here, they're changing our culture.
Yes.
And the only way they're doing that is getting in the politics, like governor,
Mm-hmm.
mayor, and we're gonna have to stand. If we don't, we're gonna lose our country.
We're going to lose it. We're going to lose it.
And I hate to say it, but it's coming, and
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna have to, I don't know what to do, but people, the generation now is just, it's all, I just feel like this. It's about socialism.
Mm-hmm.
Socialism leads to the communism.
Yes.
But the thing about it is, just, not even saying our generation, but it's laziness.
Did you say that word, laziness? That's the longest 4-letter word there is.
They don't want to work,
Right.
and so they want everything given to them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they don't understand that we're taxing the rich, the billionaires. Well,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's fine and dandy, but guess if they tax the rich, it trickles down to the.
Sure it does.
But
They don't understand that.
And like I say, it's, I don't know, we're gonna have to take a stand.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to, I don't know what we need to do, but we need to send them all back. That's just my opinion.
I agree. Absolutely. But
I saw on the news where, Texas
mm-hmm.
has voted, the whole state has voted to put prayer back in school, Texas.
That's wonderful.
Without Sharia law.
Yeah.
That's what
And
it is.
Florida did the same thing.
Why hadn't North Carolina done it?
I don't know, but they need to.
Well, like we talked about.
Yeah, well, he will veto it. You know, it's amazing to me, 8 years ago, this state voted almost everything in the world Republican, except governor. They voted, it was unbelievable how many votes Republicans got. They took over everything, including lieutenant governor, except the governor. That just don't even make sense to me. It does to me. It sounds like a lot of hanky-panky. A lot of hanky-panky. I don't know. I just, what's going on just don't make sense to me. It really doesn't. And the governors are never held responsible for anything that goes on. So, anyway, I appreciate that comment, Jeff, because you're absolutely 100% correct. When the newer generations have come about, people say 25 or under, they, as Jeff said, they've never experienced pretty much what you and I experienced growing up. They never did that. So they don't know, and they're very susceptible. The Pied Piper is coming down the path and blowing his horn, and they're all jumping on the bandwagon. Yes, this country should give free health care to everybody. This country should do reparations. This country should do this. This country should do that. They don't have, well, I can't say that because I think I might be recorded. And I wouldn't want to have to tell Joe, well, did I say that?
I'm going to say this, if we don't put God in every level of government, our country and states are doomed.
It's history. It's like that one guy, some country that was trying to revolt and doing everything, and one of these politicians, he tickled me. He said, you know, we could give them our Constitution because we don't use it anymore. We don't need it. And that's true. We don't follow what the Constitution says. There's not a law today that hasn't been on the books for a long, long time. It's just, does law enforcement through their leadership decide whether to enforce it or not? For example, when I was growing up and I was a young adult and everything, I'll give you an example, a good one. Have you seen these vehicles with the tires sticking outside the wheel, the wheels sticking out and all that? Let me tell you something. Your vehicle would be impounded then. There was a strict law that you did not have a wheel sticking outside the fender well. And that's why they had a lot of those things on the Jeep, the fender extensions and all those things, so you can have a little bit wider tire. Today, I've seen them where the whole tire sits outside the fender well. I asked a highway patrolman one day, I said, why is it that law's not on the books now? He said, it probably is, but we're told not to enforce it. Well, anyway, let's get, I'm sorry, we better get back. No, we got time.
Let me say one thing.
Yes, ma'am.
Some kind of a Christian conference. One day this week, I can't remember, and one of the men that was up there speaking said he was a citizen of the United States. But mainly, he was a citizen of heaven.
Yes.
And I think that speech he made was something else. Everything he said had to do with God.
That's wonderful. It's wonderful. You see, today, if you mention God in a speech, oh, you can't do that. No. Now, you can mention Allah. You can mention all them other ones, not a problem. But you cannot mention Father God. You cannot mention the true and the living God. You're not allowed to do that. Why have we let that happen? Yes. You don't mention Jesus Christ. I know they were talking about the book bags or something for the kids to take to school. And I told Susan, I said, honey, if you've got like Jesus Christ or fish or something on there, they're gonna make you take it off. Well, some schools won't. Some schools will stand at the principal and say, I don't care. You can do whatever you want. You just don't offend anybody. Other ones say, no, the state says you can't do this. Did the state really say you can't do this? No. But they just want to interpret something the way they want. And I'm here to tell you from the bottom to the top, today is filled with greed as far as politicians. It's just filled with it. You can.
That's where the Muslim people come over here, and they don't want to hear Jesus Christ.
No.
So when they come over here, they ask, the only way you come over here is to assimilate to our
Right.
God.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Jesus Christ.
Mhm.
But they come over here lying, and then come over here in 20 years and 30 years time, look where they at now.
Yeah. And quite a few of them come over here for free.
Yeah.
And they come over here and they're given all these loans for free. They really don't have to pay back. That's why almost every convenience store today is what? It's owned by somebody from another country. The only one that I even know of is Papa Jack's. Everything else, it seems like, is owned by someone from some other country.
How about the Somalis in Minnesota, where
Yeah.
3% is on welfare,
Mhm.
getting benefits and stuff like billions of dollars.
Mhm.
And see, that could be used for veterans, for elderly people
Yeah.
that need it.
That need the money.
Yes, that's billions of dollars
Mhm.
gone. That can protect our veterans and our elderly people. That should be, because they have worked their whole entire life, and look where they at now, barely getting by.
And the politicians up there, they're saying that they don't know anything about it. What a lie. What a lie. I know the governor, the attorney general said they had never met this one person who they said stole about $1 billion. And then they got video of them at a meeting together. But no, that wasn't me. That just looked like me. He just couldn't have been me. And then they don't want to talk about it anymore. And that man came close to becoming the vice president of the United States. So anyway, I know where he should be, but look, here's the thing about this, is according to all the works which they have done since the day I brought them out of Egypt, even unto this day wherewith they have forsaken me and served other gods, so do they also unto thee. Look, what's the difference? Jesus Christ helped us, made it so we could have a free country, that we could worship him without being chastised or anything like that. And right now, next week will be 250 years that this country has been, a free and independent, a way of worshiping. And look what has happened. But most of it has happened in the last 60 years. So if we took 2006 and went back to 1966, guess what started happening? We're going to start taking prayer out of schools. We're going to stop saying the Pledge of Allegiance. We're going to stop doing this, and we're going to stop doing that. Because, you know, God, you're pretty good, but we don't need you now. So how's that working out for us? In 60 years, look what has happened. Where we're at today. When I was a kid, being raised up 3 miles down the road here, in the summertime, you didn't lock the door. You locked the screen door to keep the dogs out. Because Speck and Frisky would be right in. That was our dogs. They'd be right in there laying in the living room when you got up the next morning. So we had to do that. It looks like a hoodlum to me, Jeff. It's Roger. I'm sorry. Okay. Now, therefore, hearken unto their voice. Listen to them. Just listen to these elders and things that you've got here. Howbeit, yet protest solemnly unto them, and show them the manner of the king that shall reign over them. And that's exactly what Samuel did. So he went to these elders. When they asked him, they wanted a king. He said, okay, you're going to have a king, but let me tell you how it's going to be. Let me tell you exactly how it's going to be here. Okay, and Samuel told all the words of the Lord unto the people that asked of him a king. And he said, this will be the manner of the king that will reign over you. He will take your sons and appoint them for himself, for his chariots, and to be his horsemen, and some shall run before the chariots. In other words, he's going to take some of you, some of your children, some of your sons, and he's going to make them servants to him. He's going to make them horsemen to keep up with the chariots. He's going to make them maintain his chariots. He's going to make some of them run before the chariots. Okay? And he will appoint him captains over thousands and captains over 50s, and will set them to ear means plow, to plow his ground, and to reap his harvest, and to make sure his instruments of war and instruments of his chariots. Look, here's a simple fact. When you get this king is king of everything. It's king of all you own. He's king of it all. He's a dictator. He's going to be a dictator. And he's going to pick everything, the best parts of your life for himself. You got to understand that. Okay? And he will take your daughters to be confectionaries. Confectionaries. Now, I always thought that was cake. No. Perfumers. They'll be making perfume for him and his servants. And be cooks and to be bakers. But see, they will be working for him. You might be paying them, but they'll be working for him. He will be telling them what to do. Okay? So how's that sounding so far, Israel? Okay? And he will take your fields and your vineyards and your olive yards, even the best of them, and give them to his servants. You're going to give up everything that you own because it's now going to belong to the king. King will own everything. It sounds not so good to me. But sometimes you have to have someone responsible. Someone has to take action. Someone has to make the first step. Someone has to do things to correct the situation. I was always told that you nip it in the bud, Andy. You don't let it fester. You don't expect people to solve their own problems. You solve them for them. You make the decision. You're the one who's going to do the right thing. Maybe not like Solomon. You know, Solomon was a king. And they said he was the wisest man ever. All I got to say is if he was the wisest one, I would hate to see the dumbest one. Because I didn't see anything about him that was wise. I saw nothing about him that was wise. Why do I say that? when he's known as the wisest person. Well, look how many wives he wound up having. Look how many concubines he wound up having. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. I can't even keep up with one. I don't know about you guys. Well, I can't keep up with one. And he's supposed to have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. And what he was doing is he was letting those wives mess with us up here, and he was turning against God. He was turning towards Balaam and all those things. But that's what kings do. Look at King David. King David, God helped him so much become a king, but he went to war so many times that God told him he could not and would not build the temple in Jerusalem. It would not happen. His son Solomon would build it. Now, David designed it, him and his staff, but he could not build it. God told him, no. You've warred too much. You've shed too much blood. It's not going to happen. Okay? So anyway, make a long story short, and he will take the tenth of your seed and of your vineyards and give to his officers and to his servants. His servants will collect. His servants will collect what, his servants will collect a tenth of all your profits. Wouldn't it be wonderful if our government would only take a tenth of our profits? Would that not be tremendous? Can you imagine? Only a tenth. Yeah. I read a long time ago, and I still ain't figured this out, but at that time, a loaf of bread was about 50 or 75 cents. And all the tax that was collected from the time the ground was planted until you bought the bread, there was like $2 tax. I was thinking, how do you get $2 tax out of a 50-cent loaf of bread or something? But somehow the government could do that. There's tax on everything. If they could tax air, they would do it. I'm here to tell you.
Say you don't have to pay tax on Social Security.
Yeah, that's true.
Of course, I don't get enough to have to pay.
Well, who does? Who does?
But some people do.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Whatever. And he will take your men servants and your maid servants and your goodliest young men and your asses and put them to his work. Now, see, you got to remember, who is the audience here that Solomon is talking to? Not Solomon, Samuel. Who? But who, what? He's talking to the wealthy ones. He's talking to the ones that are a representative of each tribe, and you ain't taking the lowliest one, you're taking the highest one, the one who has all these things. And Samuel is telling them, this is what you're going to have to give up. If this is what you want, we're going to start with you giving this up, okay? He will take the tenth of your sheep, and ye shall be his servants. And you shall cry out in that day because of your king, which you have chosen you, and the Lord will not hear you in that day. The Lord is not going to hear you because the king is the supreme commander, okay? God is not going to be your supreme commander. From day one, the Israelites, after they found out that they were God's chosen people, it was to and fro. To and fro. That's all it was. We're going to turn to God when we really have messed everything up. And then we're going to go away from him. We're going to go away from God when we don't think we need him. And if we don't need him, so be it. And now they're telling God that they don't need him. Does our country need God? Why is it people can't understand that? You know, I tell people, you believe in something. I guarantee everybody in this world believes in something. Whether it's Father God, whether it's this, that, or the other. But I don't believe there's anybody in this country that doesn't believe in anything.
They can two options, I see it, is the devil or God.
One or the other.
Because if you don't believe in God, you know, you have hatred in your heart.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, that's all I see.
And that's the way it is. And that's the way it is.
And not just, it's hatred, hatred toward people, you know, that's just what.
I completely agree. That's the way it is today. Either you believe in God or you believe in something else. And if you don't believe in God, I would personally just ask you to go and find some country that you can believe in. But we're not going to do that, are we? No, 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 no. My brother said that the government should come up with several $billion in plane tickets for people who don't love this country to let them go find another country and see how living is in that country. Sound like a deal to me. I've heard people talk about, oh, well, how cheap it is to live in Thailand. I don't believe the standard of living is quite the same, do you? So, but, you know, I don't understand why the government doesn't come up with that. If you don't love this country, leave it. It's like that show they used to do in Raleigh, Love It or List It. Love it or leave it. Leave our country. We made it before you, and we can make it after you. So just go on. Go back wherever you want to go and have fun there. But please don't come into this country trying to tell us what to do. It's the most ridiculous thing. It's as Jeff says, it's just so hard to even fathom that these people coming into this country telling us what we should be doing, as if they're the experts, as if they know what they're doing. I don't understand. Anyway, thank you so much for listening to me, and we're still looking for that bus, okay?
They're on the way out. It's
About a mile down the road. They might be having a flat tire and they're hopping. And so anyway, things happen. Okay.
You hung up?
You had me.